Welcome to the creative side of things,
where we empower and inspire business owners and entrepreneurs to tap into their inner creative,
from standing out in saturated markets
to debunking and challenging the status quo.
We'll learn firsthand from actual small business owners how they've applied creativity, imagination, and common sense to grow their businesses. I'm Javier, Chief Creator and founder of High Ground Creative.
And I'm Megan, founder and CEO of Cheek & Co Clothing.
I'm Gen X and her dad.
I'm Gen Z and his favorite daughter.
Oh, that's debatable.
Well, it's not up for debate. Together we are creative thinkers,
design experts,
branding gurus,
imagination igniters,
and coffee addicts. Keep listening and we'll prove it to you.
Hey, you might learn something.
Imagine that.
Ready?
Let's get creative.
Megan.
You always scream. Javi.
What
Dad.
What is up? Your mom's going to get mad at me if you call me Javi. You remember when that happened?
Well, you said Megan, so.
Welcome.
Say daughter.
Hello, daughter. We're back, everybody. The creative side of things. Welcome, everybody. It's been a while. Last week, I think was the last time we had something. We are very excited to have you back. Don't forget, we're here to help you, and we're here on a ride and a journey with you to help you tap into your inner creative.
Yes, to empower and inspire your inner creative, because everyone's creative, even if you don't think so.
That's right. So
there's something in you that's creative, and we're here to help you find it.
Let's do that together. And then we talk about all kinds of things, but today we have a guest, and we're excited about that. But before we do that,
we love quotes.
We love quotes because we want to set a tone for. Oh gosh, I know. I don't know why I'm so fidgety, Megan.
It's okay.
Very excited about what's happening today. And I just wanted to confess something to everybody. I really failed our guest today already, and we haven't even started. And my staff, too, and you, Megan. So I wanted to publicly apologize for not having any water available in the building.
It's because we run on coffee, and we just forgot about the water. It's okay.
Yeah, so
it's okay.
I will make it up at lunch with everybody. So it's good to be here with you, ma'am.
But I wanted to share.
It's good to be here with you.
It's great to be here with you, too.
Right. So you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to share this quote. It says, "The worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt."
I'm going to add another thing to that as far as self-doubt is, we talked about this before, where creativity and imagination, there's times that you need to be by yourself to kind of foster that and nurture that. At the same time, it doesn't grow as well in a silo. When you're around other people that are creative and they use and you sharpen each other. When you
surround yourself with other creative people, or if you're not feeling creative and then someone is, like, connect with them, because they're going to give that awesome energy to you. Right. So if you're surrounding yourself with people in that negative mindset, it's only going to negatively affect you.
Exactly.
So it's
and if they walk away from you, maybe you're the one they don't want to.
Maybe you're the negative one. Yeah. So check yourself.
Check yourself, people. Check yourself.
But I wanted you to say your quote too, because I really liked it.
Okay. So I think this one, we picked this one, these next two, because our guest is very focused on productivity connection. But productivity without creativity is like a car with no gas. Imagination is what fuels the journey. I'll repeat that. Productivity without creativity is like a car without any gas. Imagination is what fuels the journey.
As a business owner, if you're being, you could be the most productive person in the world, but if there's no, like, creativity in that, it can really hurt your company, it can hurt your brand, because you're just, I don't know, it can make you feel like a cog. Like, right. Just another
and that's a danger,
business robot. Like, you got to bring yourself into it. You have to bring that creativity into it. And that's what really makes companies thrive, is like the you part of it. And we're so adamant on that, about being you in your business and putting all the creativity you can into your brand and what you do. So I really,
and it's deliberate, Megan.
Exactly.
And it's something that, here's a test of whether, if you're out of gas or not. If you're saying these days, that's the way we've always done it, you might be out of gas because that stops things, right?
Yeah.
Words like will never or no kind of stifle that,
yeah.
right?
You have to change how you word it out loud and in your head. And we talked about that in the Brain Matters episode, of how you can, even if you're not feeling that way, you can almost trick yourself into feeling that positivity, like she was saying, to talk in the mirror and say this positive affirmations.
Self-talk is a
and
big,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
big deal for sure.
If you're not your biggest cheerleader, then
how can you
how
expect
can
people
you
to kind of
be other people's biggest cheerleader? How can you get cheerleader leaders if you're, you know, in that self-doubt? So,
you know, you have no business building somebody's house if your house ain't, it's all out of order, you know? Does that even make any sense?
it probably. I'm curious to see what the captions do with that when I'm editing. And then I wanted to share this last one. It says productivity is the result of a disciplined imagination. We're going to talk about discipline a lot today,
Yes,
and I feel like some people can look at it in a negative way, like discipline, but discipline is extremely important and can be and it is positive if you do it correctly. You can still be creative with discipline. So it says productivity is the result of a disciplined imagination. Creativity is the result of an active imagination.
Discipline and active, and that's deliberate.
Like discipline isn't a negative thing.
It isn't. And also, you know, we're going to talk about some of words and like organic and things like that, which are very important because those are natural things. At the same time, there's order, there's planning to things that are you know, discipline. Discipline behind that doesn't mean it's not spontaneous and organic. Like, as a matter of fact,
it leaves room to be spontaneous.
It does. Look, if I want to go on a date with my wife, I have kids, we're busy. We
You're
have to put it in the
plan
calendar.
It doesn't mean it's less romantic.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's discipline behind that, and just, you know, don't get all caught up in the fact that, whoa, that wasn't spontaneous, so it's not true or it's not organic. No, it's not. There's more to that. There's
organized
planning.
Chaos is like one of my favorite things to say because that is my life.
Kind of like my desktop on my computer.
Yeah, all the tabs.
All those tabs.
And mine too. When I was trying to exit, my dad said that I needed to. I had like 5.
5 browser windows.
No, the Premiere. I was so behind in the updates. Like 10 updates 10 behind.
Updates. You need to update your
and
software.
He was like, you need to update your software. And I was like, okay. So then I did. And I had to exit out of so many different windows.
I thought I was bad. So
it took so long.
So I guess you're having digital daddy issues.
I can't with you. But that was a good example of my brain space too. Like people say that like your creative space represents your mind as well. So sometimes it's positive to have a chaotic creative space. It means that you are creating. But look at your home life and like things as simple as like how messy your house is, and that can, you know, reflect on how things are happening in your brain as well.
Hey, do you listen to this young lady over here? She knows what she's talking about, so you better listen to her.
Mic drop, but these are attached, so I can't drop it.
Exactly. So I think we're in a good place to kind of shift to our guest today. Before we get him in here, I'm going to talk a little bit about him, and obviously, so we'll be done talking, and we'll bring him in. So we have a gentleman. His name is Jose Escobar. Jose, there's 5 words that I wrote down that when I think of Jose, in the short amount of time knowing him, that come to my mind. Discipline, productivity, action, execution, and reading. It's another word. I don't know if that's not
execution is
execution,
a
right?
really good word.
That is a big deal. Connection is another one that comes to mind when I think of this gentleman. Jose was born in D.C. He lives in Silver Spring, Maryland, about 2 hours from here. He drove from here 2 hours, which we were very honored that he did that. He's happily married to a young lady. Her name is Katie, and he has 4 beautiful children, 3 girls and a boy. And he's also a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He practices that discipline. So I think we're done talking about him. We're going to get him on here. He's also a best-selling author. He is a speaker in many events, well sought out in a lot of communities and a lot of business circles. So we want to
and
bring
he just
him in
made
here.
a huge leap, and we can't wait to talk all about it.
And the guy is full of creativity and imagination, and how he does things, and how he operates, and how he builds people, and how he builds himself, and how he builds businesses and helps others grow, and the impact he's making out there in the world. So without further ado, let's welcome him to the show, Mr. Jose Escobar.
Yellow button.
Yellow button.
You can't hear it, but there's applause happening. I'm so excited.
Hello.
Hello. And fellow Washington Commanders fans.
I'm going to take this off, but I intentionally decided to wear
yes.
it.
No, you.
It's really cool.
Absolutely, because the moment I saw that he was a fan, he had me at Commanders.
You're like, okay, I guess you can be on.
It doesn't matter. You know, we're Latinos. We're Washington fans. There's a lot more in common, but that was a very big deal. There's a lot of more things that he's accomplished, but I wanted to have you on there. Welcome. Are you here? Is okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I can hear myself even better. My goodness.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Hope you like your voice. You're going to hear it.
Yeah, I do. And just really quick, I have 5 kids. You were close.
Oh, my God.
5 kids.
Holy crap, that is 5 kids. I lost count. I was in your living room a few months ago. I'm like, what? There's one.
Yeah, you're good.
So if he looks tired, we know why. Because when you're an entrepreneur full time and you have 5 children,
So is it 4 girls or
2 boys.
2 boys.
2 boys and 3
girls.
girls? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Awesome.
My apologies. I failed them twice already today. Oh my gosh, we haven't even just started. So I'm sorry, Jose. So welcome to the podcast, to the show. I don't like to say podcast. We have a show.
Okay. The experience.
The experience. But I want him to hear what we put in when he walked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how we love starting with our guests is if someone's listening who has no idea who you are and what you do, how would you explain that to them?
Well, I'm a simple person. I'm a family man. I'm a man of faith, very involved in my church. I would consider myself to be a servant leader. I've always been the type of guy that looks out for others. Even when I didn't have money, I would be the guy who would, sacrifice an extra beer for me to buy a beer for my buddy, even though, I didn't have the money. So I've always been a giver. I've always led in good ways and bad ways, because at some point I lost my way when I was a teenager. Hard worker. Definitely learned that from my parents. Hard work, discipline, and really a dreamer. I've been always the kind of person who wanted more in life and wasn't okay with doing the typical 40 hours a week, 40 years of your life, keep your nose clean, get a good education. One day you're going to retire in financial dignity on 1/3 of your income, even though you weren't surviving off of the full income at the time. I just never saw it as something I wanted to do. Like, I was like an entrepreneur at heart. So I've always had that. And then, and I just am a connector. I love being around people. I'm an extrovert. My wife is an introvert. We balance each other out. So that's a little bit about how I see myself.
Okay.
And when you say you're a connector, does that feel like it's very with entrepreneurs specifically, you like networking and connecting different, or just people in general?
Just people in general.
I like it.
So I've always been a connector. I've always been a relationship builder. Yeah. Everywhere I go, I'm meeting people. I'm getting names. I'm not only just creating relationships, but I maintain and nurture relationships. Right. I know at least 10,000 people, literally all over the country, on a first name basis. And because one of the rules of 5 that I have, every single day I reach out to 5 people just to say, hey, how you been? It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. Know that I'm always here for you. I care about you. Different things like that, touch points to maintain relationships. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's very important.
We were just talking about how important human interaction is. And we were talking about how mobile apps, like if you wanted a coffee, you can just order it and never talk to anyone. But it's important to kind of step back from that and go inside and talk to
interact
someone. And have
people.
Small talk is dying, and we need to remember that human interaction is really important.
We do. We're relational. But in a short time, we've known each other for about 6 months, but in a short time knowing you, I agree with everything you just said. You're correct about you. And that's what I see and what people around that care about you see. But you did something that in many people say it's stupid. We don't think it's stupid. You have been in insurance world as a salesperson for many years, and then you worked for a company that you recently left. We want to hear this because there's a lot of, and then we'll talk a little bit more, but get us from the point when you shifted from insurance and you got this job, and from there, and where you are now professionally, if you can tell us that story.
Yeah, so I was a bank manager in a couple different banks. Okay. That's where I started in the financial world. And then I went from there to life insurance. Okay. So I was working for a brokerage and I was coaching, and it was like a network marketing kind of life insurance company called Premier Financial Alliance. like Primerica.
Okay.
And I was recruiting, I was building, I was leading, managing, and selling, right?
Okay.
And I did that for quite some time. And then I said, you know what, let me go from banking to life insurance to property and casualty. And I went into State Farm and Liberty Mutual, separate times. And then I was just tired of being in a suit, 9 to 5, 4 walls, all day, every day. I said, I need to do something that is more my passion, something I enjoy, right? And there's 4 things that I love: sales, networking, coaching, and martial arts.
Okay.
So I said, there has to be a company out there that can do all 4. And I found it, educational funding company, EFC in Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Okay.
Just so happens my best friend, Nick Okinos, which you might know in the CLA.
Yeah.
He is a real estate investor, but he's 3rd generation in that company. So his grandfather founded that company, and I happened to get in the door through him, and it all worked out. And I was there for many years, and I loved it. I was traveling the country. I started as a consultant, a coach, helping martial arts school owners scale their businesses.
Okay.
And so if you're making $10K a month, I help you to get to 15 to 20
That's
to 30
so
to 40.
niche. I would never know that. Like,
I know. It's
That's so
something.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was great, and I love that. And then I was doing really well, and I got promoted to sales director for the U.S. territory. So I was doing anything and everything sales for EFC. And January 1st, I walked away, and it just made sense. It just made sense to walk away, and now I'm a full-time entrepreneur scaling 2 businesses.
So you walked away from that to what?
to
Entrepreneurship.
build a dream, to build my dream, right? Because I believe that every business has room for one dream, and if you don't own it, it's not yours, right?
Wow. Wait. Bing.
I love that.
Could say that again, please.
Yeah, every business has room for one dream,
Okay.
and if you don't own the business, it's not yours,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
every entrepreneur, every business owner is going to hire people
Right.
to work for their dream.
Absolutely.
And
Exactly.
and that's cool, and that's fine, and not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
right? And I think 97% of the
Not
population
for the
is
faint
not.
of heart.
It is not.
Yeah,
It's
so
not.
I get that, I understand that, but for me, it was like I had to build, right? I had to build a dream. I knew the lifestyle I wanted, and I knew there was a cap where I was there. The likelihood of me being the CEO of that company was like zilch.
Yeah.
So I said, I got to do something right for my family. So
Makes sense.
it started as a side hustle. I created the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf. It was just a Facebook group, a little community of entrepreneurs who love to read books and are committed to personal development. I started organically growing this group. I would go in there and do book reviews. I would talk about books. I would, anything in books related or personal development I was doing in there, right? Bringing interviews and stuff like that. It grew. And then I said, well, maybe I should do this as a digital programs company, right? Like create programs. So in 2019, I launched, or should I say I changed my life because I was tired of being average. 2018 and prior to that, I was just very average Jose, average Joe, right? I was an average husband, average father, average income, average health. So I told my wife in 2018, I was like, listen, I'm going to commit to a morning routine and an evening routine, Monday through Friday for the whole year of 2019. And I did that. And 5 a.m. wake-up time, 10:30 bedtime, doing all these things on the bookends of your day. That year, I lost 36 pounds. I became a better father, a better husband. My spiritual life went to an all-time high. I got out of debt. I more than doubled my income. A lot of stuff happened. So that's when a light bulb went off. It took me 2 years to launch my program because of imposter syndrome and lack of confidence, and you name it.
Right.
And eventually, I launched a program. So that is a digital programs company, educational funding company, the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf. Excuse me. So that is excelling. It did multiple 6 figures in 1 year when I launched that program. And then I have my speaking and coaching space under there as well. So coaching, speaking, and authorship. I wrote a book, Winning the Day, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Morning and Evening Routine Mastery. I co-authored 7 other books. So all of that is under the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. And then the other company is this one here, the Connected Leaders Academy. It's a networking tribe, a community of entrepreneurs. We have started at, I think it was January 28th or something like that of last year. So we're slightly over a year, and we've grown to 240 members in 11 countries internationally and 36 states across the U.S., all high performers. You being
I'm
one
a
of them.
member. I'm a member.
Congratulations.
so-
I'm part of
so
the
that's it.
tribe.
That is amazing.
It is amazing. Yes. yes, very
One
much.
thing stood out to me. You said the bookends of your day. Could you go into that?
Yeah,
'Cause
right?
Yeah.
schedule is really important. And this is coming from someone who struggles with time management. So I would love to hear
Sure.
that.
So the bookends of your day is how you start your day, how you end your day. Morning routine, evening routine, super important. And they're interconnected. So in order for you to create maximum productivity in your day, you have to make sure you master those 2 bookends of your day, right? So every morning when I wake up, I have a systematic process that I follow, a framework, right? In my program, I teach 36 different things. that high performers do in their morning and their evening. And we're talking visualization, affirmations, commonplacing, fitness, nutrition, meditation, breath work,
Awesome.
Cold showers. The list goes on and on and on, right? So I essentially teach that, and not everybody's going to do 36 things throughout their day. So I just do 10 in the morning, I do 10 in the evening, and that really sets me up for tremendous success because it is a process, it is a system. You have to create automaticity in your life with high-level discipline. That's what it's
Do you have a favorite, like cold shower? Or
well, my favorite is reading.
okay.
I'm an
Yeah,
avid
that
reader.
makes sense.
I'm an avid reader. Yeah, that's the lowest hanging fruit, and that's what one of the big, besides a morning routine and an evening routine, reading books is one of the biggest things I would attribute my success to. That's helped me really move the needle.
Yeah, I always say leaders are readers and leaders are note takers.
Yeah. But not all leaders are readers.
Fair enough.
Right?
They should be.
But yeah.
That's a common, when you find one, many times that's one of the things, right? That you got to feed that noggin.
Yeah. Do you
Brain
still
matter.
do jiu-jitsu? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Jiu-jitsu.
Okay. I don't want to like mess up.
Jiu-jitsu. So
Yeah.
I haven't been training for
Okay.
At least a year.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I just took a break, but I've been involved in that space for many years. And I said, well, since I'm passionate about it and I'm training it in, I've been doing it for a while.
Okay.
Let me get into the workspace of
Yeah.
that, right? And that's kind of what I did. But I will be back.
Okay.
I will be back.
Oh, this is so awesome.
I'm going to switch gears and we'll get back on track. Coffee. Tell us you like coffee. Because, when you ask somebody what their football team they like and their baseball
Where are
team,
you from?
where you from, you start
Yeah.
kind of judging who they are as a person, and how they like their coffee is a part of that category. So
Sure.
we're a Commanders fan, Nationals fan. So far, so good.
Yep.
I'm
Tell-
over here hockey watcher.
Tell us how you like your coffee. What's your favorite go-to when you go anywhere?
So there's two things I would say. If I'm at home, it's black coffee.
Okay.
Simple. No sugar, no cream. I don't really care what kind of coffee.
Okay.
It's just any coffee. No sugar, no cream, black. If I'm at Starbucks and it's October-ish,
Here we go.
anytime between September and November, I'm a pumpkin spice
You got one. Ding,
junkie.
ding, ding.
Pumpkin spice junkie. I do pumpkin spice all the
You
time.
made a friend for life.
I get it with like a chai latte and then the pumpkin in it. Oh, it's so good.
My friends always mess with me every time I come in with my pumpkin spice. They're like, "Hey, girl." I'm like, "Come on, man."
Coffee has no gender.
Your main card. Let's put a clip on your main card right now.
I love it.
But
pumpkin spice is amazing.
Jose is very secure in his masculinity, so it's okay. I have iced coffee with sugar-free vanilla
Yep.
and some stevia. So
No, with coffee, it makes me think of breakfast. And when you have your bookends, what's your take on if breakfast is important or not? Because there's a mix.
there's a lot of
Some
different
people don't
talk
think it
about that.
matters. Other people have to have their breakfast.
You're going to find an argument for just about both sides on anything.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Phil, by the way, that's a little secret. I'm just going to reveal it here today for the first time ever.
Okay.
I'm a huge Dr. Phil fan, right? So I watch that religiously on my DVR, spare not
Love
productive time. So he says a quote all the time. It doesn't matter how flat you make a pancake, it still has two sides, right? So in this case, we can make an argument for both sides. My belief is very simple. You need to eat first thing in the morning.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to have a massive meal, but just something to kind of get the ball rolling, the metabolism going. For me, I work out in the morning and then I have a protein shake. Okay. And that's kind of like my first meal is a protein shake. And then eventually I might have like eggs and something else later, a couple hours later.
Okay.
Because I wake up at 4 a.m. So my morning routine starts at 4 and it ends at 7. 4 to 7, evening routine is 9 to 10:30.
Okay.
Wow. So you're doing 6 hours usually is the sleep for you?
6.5, 6 to 6.5, yeah.
Sleep is very important. We talked about it on our Brain Matters episode of how much it has an effect on the brain if you're not getting enough sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we all know how we are and how we respond to that. Like, I guess it's the cranky meter.
Yeah.
Right?
You
There's
can
that
tell
little
if
moment,
someone.
it's like,
Then I know if I'm off.
Yeah,
Like, I know if I'm
Mm-hmm.
off. And what I'll do, and now that I'm a full-time entrepreneur, I'm like, hey, listen, Jose, if you want to raise, do a little more work.
Yes.
If you want to take a nap, go take a nap.
I love that.
And I'll go take
Mm-hmm.
a power nap, and I'll be fine. I just,
That's one of the biggest things for entrepreneurship is autonomy. If somebody asks me, like, what do you like most? It's like, well, that I have the ability to shift if I want to.
Right.
And that's so powerful because it's changed your life because you had the structure you had to abide by with the corporate world. You didn't control that. Now, I remember when I went over to your place a few months ago. I'm like, wow, look at your commute. It's like down the hall. He gets up and he walks
a far
across.
drive.
Just a few steps.
Yeah.
Just a few steps. So I'm just like, oh, well, there's that.
Right. Did we
So I wanted him to go a little bit more into CLA, if you don't mind. It's amazing. I've gotten to see hints of it through when I met you. What was it called that I met him at the?
we met at the AMA event.
Yes,
community.
I know.
But what I want to say though is, there's a lot of people from CLA that are going to listen to this. That's expected, but we're building an audience, and there's a lot of people that
don't know what it is.
Jose, who will know, and that's who we're speaking to, because we're not preaching to the choir. Those people know, but yes, please answer her question.
So the Connected Leaders Academy started out as an idea because, like I said, I'm a connector. I meet people everywhere I go, and basically January of last year, I said, you know what? I know thousands of people. For my own, invested in myself, because I've been that lifelong learner, the guy who's always going to events, masterminds, boot camps, paid mentorships, you name it. And I've met amazing people. And everywhere I go, I pay VIP because I understand proximity is key, right? So I met all these high-level entrepreneurs. And then in my day job, they're sending me all over the country, meeting amazing people. And part of my role there was to help book celebrity keynote speakers. So I met all these amazing people. And they all know me, but they don't know each other. Okay. So I said, that was the business idea. So I said, let me bridge the gap. And they say speed to market is the one who wins the most long term, right? So I said, well, there's no other communities that I know of right now that are doing what I'm trying to do, at least in my immediate circle of people that I know, right? And I know a lot of people. So I said, all right, well, I can do it. Let me be the guy, right? And so I said, okay, how do I get this going? What do I do? Most people get stuck there and quit. I don't have the resources to do it. The money, the know-how, the expertise, the technique, the mentor. It's not about resources. It's about being resourceful, right? So I'm a very resourceful person. I'll find a way to get something done. So I said, okay, let me just figure it out. So I hired a guy on Fiverr to do this for, I don't know, $15, this logo right here, which is lovely. And I decided to create 10 benefits of the membership. What would people want? What would I want? That type of thing for entrepreneurs. I created a price points and a couple other things, and I launched. So in the first, and it took me 2 weeks to launch, by the way. 2 weeks from idea to actual implementation.
There's a lesson right there. Right there.
Yeah. So I didn't look at all the red tape. I didn't overthink. I didn't say I need the LLC. I need the website. I need to have the marketing strategy. I need to have the blueprint. No, I just said, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to run with it. Right. So I reached out to the top 50 people that I knew that know, like, and trust me, that are high-level entrepreneurs. And I'm a sales guy. I've been in sales for 26 years. So I said, let me just paint them the vision. This is what I'm doing. Imagine this, and you're going to be a part of it on the front end and blah, blah, blah. They said, we're in. Let's do it. So I created a founding members rate. They started, and then from there it grew exponentially. And again, it's grown. And there's 5 reasons why anybody would want to join the Connected Leaders Academy if you're an entrepreneur. Number 1 is you want to grow personally and professionally, because we all want to get better as people and as business owners, right? Yeah. Number 2, you want to scale your influence. We all want to be more of an authority in our space. We want more influence, right? Number 3, we want to move the needle in our business. What does that mean? More leads, referrals, endorsements, collaborations. The bottom line, more money, right? Number 4, we all want to improve our skill sets. We want to continue to develop our skill sets, right? Because nobody has arrived. The areas where you might be not so great, somebody else in the tribe is masterful, and vice versa. Yeah. So iron sharpens iron. And number 5, you're going to grow your network and your circle exponentially. And that's kind of why I put it together. It's been growing massively. People are loving it. We are all over, everywhere, and we're adding new people just about every other day and sometimes daily.
I just saw this morning was another new member.
Yeah. It's exciting.
That's why somebody was late to the...
So we had this question of if you could go back in time, but he's essentially a baby business, but doing amazing things. Oh, sure. So it still applies though. If you could go, you said it was very quick, 2 weeks. If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of business advice, do you have anything that you would change?
Yes. There's a number of things I would change, but I knew that was going to be the case. I said, let me create a mess and I'll clean it up along the way. I'll just keep chipping away and improving, right? So up to this point, I have no funnel. I have no email marketing. I have nothing. It's all been just me being resourceful and organic and just figuring it out word of mouth, right? So I know I need all those things, right? But essentially, what I would do if just one thing that I would do differently, I would have started with a code of conduct and terms of service in writing for people to sign. Because then it's like, well, you never told me that, or I wasn't aware of this, or people talking about this person or that person, and then there's like drama, like gossip.
Yeah, it's not a contract, but it's more like this is there's some ground rules here because it's not like a free for all.
Community guidelines.
Yeah, you would assume that everybody knows how to respect each other and how to treat each other, and how to talk about each other when they're not around. But the reality is, we're in the people business, and we have personalities, and when you're dealing with high level entrepreneurs.
A lot of type A's.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
So I had to put it in writing. So I did now, and since then, there's a couple people that are not there anymore. But and I still love people. I don't cut people off. It's just like I started the business to run a business, not to run a daycare, right? So it's like that's what the
to babysit, right? Because this is in high school.
We definitely wanted to go into you said you were really growing organically. So with that, is it word of mouth for you? Is it just literally you're networking, so everyone's talking to each other?
Yeah.
You don't have a funnel. Like, I'd love to hear about that and how that's working out.
So there's a couple things I do. One of them is called a daily dispatch, and it's something great that I learned from Austin Kleon. Show Your Work, great book, short book, yellow book. I don't know if you've seen it or read it.
I love yellow books. They're always the best ones.
They are. A lot of yellow books.
So it's a solid book, and he talks about doing a daily dispatch, which is basically doing a daily piece of content that's showing people value and giving them the behind the scenes of what you're doing along your journey. Because there's a difference between a painting and a painting, right? Or a painting. A painting and painting. One is a verb, one is a noun.
That's right.
So let's just say this is a painting. It looks beautiful as the end result. I can take a picture and say something about it. People would love it. It might get 50 likes, or I can get 100 likes and shares and comments if I actually take a picture or video or something of me actually painting.
The process.
Right? The process. And people love to see the behind the scenes. So I let people in. I always let people in on what I'm doing, which helps with the organic growth, the interest, the inspiration. People reach out to me all the time saying, hey, I noticed you didn't post yesterday, like that type of thing, because they pay attention. They're following you. So that's one thing I do. Another thing is word of mouth. I encourage people. Like, if you don't ask, you're not going to get the referral.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you don't ask, you don't get.
The other day, literally on the call, I said on the CLA call, I said, by the way, I want a favor. Who here wants a challenge and is going to say yes to it? 15 people said yes. I said, I need you guys to refer one person to the CLA between now and next Tuesday. I got 10 people so far in appointments, and we closed 3 from just asking, right?
And was there an incentive or just?
So the incentive is, first of all, anybody who loves what they do are going to want to support you and are going to want to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
They naturally do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes people need a reminder. Sometimes they just need a little nudge to say, hey, don't forget to refer, right? But I also have an affiliate program. So anybody who gets referred by somebody, they get a payout, like a little commission for that. So they do get incentivized. And then, of course, I post different things, just random things, not necessarily like behind the scenes. Like, I'll talk about 5 things on my social media: faith, family, business, health, and motivation stuff, right? So those, if you look at my wall, that's all I talk about. And I'm always being me, because I don't even have a business page for the Connected Leaders Academy or for myself, because people can connect with me more than they can connect with the business.
Yeah, you've branded Jose.
Yeah, they connect with Jose, not CLA, and that's right. And this is from somebody who, obviously, you guys know that owns a marketing company, and you have no business hiring a company like me if you're not doing what Jose's doing to grow his business. The well of referrals and building those connections and those communities and those relationships of people that are close to you. That's how you build your brand, but that's how you continue to build stability. When you want to scale and go faster in different things, there's methods to do that. But I would never take somebody's business if they didn't have a foundation of something like Jose has. So I commend you, because a lot of people struggle with that, and it's not difficult. It's just you got to get out of your own way and go into it. And that motivated me and inspired me when you talked about how quickly you went to market with this. I'm a person that, I don't sit there and overthink it. At the same time, I do overthink it. So there's I got to prepare, I got to make sure and all that. And at the same time, there's validity in getting in there and just jumping in and working through it and figuring it out as you go.
Because sometimes the best way to figure it out is it happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
a lot of times people, like anything I post, if they like it, if they comment, if they anything, I DM them.
Oh, that's
like,
smart.
That's my immediate strategy. I DM them and say, hey, thank you so much for your comment, blah, blah, blah. If they're not in the CLA, I'm like, hey, you know, how's business going or whatever. I'll create some mini dialogue to identify if I don't even know they have a business and their Facebook page doesn't say it, right? By the way, 99.9% of my business is on Facebook. I have a LinkedIn. It's outdated. That's my initiative in this year is to improve that.
Yeah.
Instagram, I use it, but it's like, it's Facebook 100% basically. And so I DM people, and then I start getting that conversation going. Then I say, hey, let's jump on a virtual coffee. And a virtual coffee is my secret sauce. I just jump on one-on-one calls. I close everybody. Every single person in the CLA has had a one-on-one conversation with me because I'm protecting the culture of what we're looking for, and it's very important.
And you can probably get a gist of that person when you're having that virtual call. Do you ever feel like a gut feeling of, maybe they're not for CLA or? Oh
yeah, no, there's been some people that said no to me, and that's okay. It's not for everybody, and I've turned down well over 40 people because they just weren't a good fit. So,
but Jose is kind of hard to say no to because he built a really compelling argument. I was like, I would be stupid not to do that.
I mean, up to this point, I have no idea why Megan is not in the CLA.
He's doing it right now.
Just because you haven't had a virtual coffee.
We're due for a virtual coffee.
Yeah.
Because there's basically like the Jedi mind trick. I'm like, you know, you don't need to see this. I didn't forget. I don't need, you know.
And I'm shocked that he hasn't referred you.
That's strike 3 for you.
I have failed Jose 3 times today. It's not even new.
So you're a Facebook lover. I'm an Instagram lover. I wanted to talk about like going live because you guys are live a lot, and I'm terrified of it. I need to get into doing that, but I just would love advice or just like your take on, because I feel like you go live a lot. So good. I'd love to just talk about it. And convince
I'm like on the edge of my seat waiting for you to finish your sentence. That's not active listening. All right, let me pause for a second. Okay. You done?
Yeah. I'm done.
All right, active listening. So, so in terms of going live, it's very, very important to make sure that you're going live. There's a great book by Jeffrey Gitomer. You should read it. Okay, it's called Go Live.
Oh, okay, easy.
It's called Go Live by Jeffrey Gitomer. He's the king of sales. He wrote the Little Red Book of Selling. Awesome guy. I'm actually working on getting him as a guest in the CLA.
Nice.
But his book, he talks about how the automatic negative thoughts, right? Jim Quick talks about it in his book, Limitless, how the ants, automatic negative thoughts in our mind, convince us that we are not, ready, or what are we going to say? Like these questions start to come in before you go live. What am I going to say? Somebody's already said this before.
What if I don't like?
Who am I to like
get stalled?
Yeah, who am I to like say this in a different way? You know, what happens if somebody asks me a question I can't answer? You know, what happens if nobody shows up? You know, all of these things, right? But never focus on the numbers of how many people are on live, because that's irrelevant. People catch the replays. That's where
most of the time.
That's where it is,
right?
yeah.
And but you got to go live. You got to be in front of people because they want to connect with you. They want to see you. Part of my success comes because people see me a lot, and once they stop seeing me, they're going to start watching somebody else. And then for me to regain that momentum is like going up an escalator backwards underwater. Right?
Gosh, yeah.
So you can't lose momentum, but you got to start somewhere. So I encourage you to go live at least once a day, eventually 2 times a day.
Even if it's quick, right? It's I feel like a lot of times the scary thing is like, oh, I don't have an extra 2 hours. Like it could be a 10-minute, hey guys, like just checking in. And
it could be a 2-minute.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't even have to go 10 minutes. You could go 2 minutes. But as long as they're seeing you live and your video is kind of hanging out there, and then by the time they're done with it or somebody sees it, they're like, oh, there's another video.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
Right.
So they're seeing you all the time. And it doesn't always have to be value. Sometimes it could just be you being you. Talking about, hey, I'm taking a walk today. You know, I just realized that there's a lot going on and I have this and I just needed a little break. And, how many of you out there take breaks like this? And what do you do for your breaks? I'm curious. Like, it could just be an engagement piece. It doesn't even have to be a value give, because
we've been hanging out and we're like, oh, Jose's live.
Yeah. And it's also with a cigar. It's like, it's got the cigar going. And from a tactic standpoint or even strategy, every time you go live, especially on Facebook, everybody that has follow you gets dinged. So even
that's terrifying.
So it's like it goes, Jose is live.
Yeah.
Even though they don't go, there's a top of mind just reading that because it does that. So that's a, and I say that like I go live all the time.
You have.
So I'm actually listening to Jose right now. I've been writing notes because there's a lot of things that I know I need to be doing, and I know better.
Yeah,
but
that's human nature.
Yeah.
Like We all know that. Like we all know we got to work out, but how many of us work out every day?
Yeah.
You know, we all know we need to eat healthy, but do we?
Right.
You know, like that's
where that discipline comes in.
I spend every day helping others do the things I need to be doing.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Where's the couch? I need to. Jose, every time I talk to him, and he inspires me this way because he nudges me back to center, and I love that. I love that about Jose. And
that's why it's important to surround yourself with people, and that's what CLI's doing is, you know, you said iron sharpens iron, and if you're stuck in that rut, someone's going to bring you out of it. Like you said, there's someone, if he's struggling in a certain area, there's someone who's mastering at it, and I absolutely love that. So true. Like you're not alone. There's always someone that's there to help. And that can benefit
and
you.
But you have to be available. You have to show up.
You have to be available.
You can't just hide. And people do that.
Happen.
Exactly. And that happens. So, you know, we get in there and somebody once told me, you know, it's okay if you suck your thumb and go in a fetal position, but how long do you stay there? That's the problem. So recovery of that moment. Yes. Have your, I call PPPMs, the poor pitiful me's.
Yep.
And there's those moments you sit there, and we have those. I've had those here and there. And, you know, and if I'm not around people that I trust that help sharpen me, I can stay there very long. So I've learned to lean towards others in these moments and stuff. And I only learned that from being around people like Jose.
I follow the 24-hour rule. So a celebration, big win. Some people celebrate too long.
Okay.
You know, you're sad, upset, depressed. Some people drag that out.
Okay.
Right? 24 hours. You have 24 hours to celebrate, to feel down, to be upset, to feel wronged, to be sad, depressed, whatever, 24 hours. And then you have to dust it off or stop reading your press clippings and keep it moving.
And with the daily dispatch of the behind the scenes, does that kind of flow into that going live sometimes? Like, are you showing behind the scenes? Okay.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to ask another question. I'm trying to get a zinger here to see if I can. I'm going to pause. I got one.
Watch him answer immediately with no problem.
I know. This is what I'm afraid of. Like, because we've been able to stomp Faber and Bobby, who love to talk, as you guys know.
Don't get me started. I'll go too.
Okay, here's one. Okay. If you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it in your business?
If I could have any superpower, I would have the ability to connect with everyone on an emotional level.
Okay.
Because, you know, not everybody will let you in, you know, and magic happens when they let you in emotionally. Because when there's an emotional connection, that's when people get married. That's when they fall in love. That's when they are super loyal to you. That's when they talk about you behind your back in only good ways, because you have emotionally connected with somebody. That's a skill.
Yeah, it is.
Communication skills and the ability to connect with people. So if I had a superpower, it would just be like anybody I talk to, I can connect with you in a very short period of time, in one conversation, emotionally, and I'm there.
Like, you know what they're feeling, so you
because I can go right in.
That's a good answer. What the heck?
I did not stomp him. Can you try? Because I failed 4 times.
Yeah.
No, that's very true. That emotional connection is really important. That's why in my business, I'm always sharing behind the scenes. I'm being vulnerable, because if I'm struggling, I want to share it with people. I don't, fake it just to make a sale. Like, I want to share, like, hey, it's a tough season for me. Like, and then people respond and they're like, oh, me too. Like, I relate. And sometimes sales come in because of that too, just because you're being real and connecting with your customer.
And now that we're doing this together, I see you more, so I can talk to you. But before this, where I was seeing her here and there and stuff, because she lives with a fiance about 15 miles from us, I would find out how she's doing by just watching her Instagram stories.
Yeah.
I'd be like, are you okay? You seem kind of off today. But now we share, but it's a little more time we spend together. So,
yeah, I'm an open book. Everyone knows what's going on because I share it online.
That's you. It's not fake. That's Megan, for sure. So I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. I'm definitely going to utilize Facebook a lot more. This episode is inspiring me to go live.
No, for sure. Right, I know. Yeah. You got to do more of that.
Yeah. So I want you to ask another question.
Okay.
I really like the ones that you had.
Yes.
So So I was thinking the fourth one.
From the top.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
What's the most unique and unconventional thing that you have ever done to boost your creativity?
I like the unconventional a lot.
Unconventional. Jose knows how Jose ticks. So there's things, if you can let us under the hood. There it is. Unconventional thing that you've ever done to boost your creativity.
So what I do with creativity is very simple. So I actually do this every morning, by the way. I have coffee, right? So after I do my workout, cold shower, I go through my certain things that I do. I will put on some like jazz or like piano, like classical music. There's this thing you can go on YouTube. If nobody knows this is a game changer. Go on YouTube and type in library ambiance or any kind of ambiance, anything ambiance, right? But I usually put library ambiance or fireplace ambiance.
Okay,
whatever.
I do coffee. I do coffee shop.
That's what I do.
ambiance.
I do coffee shop.
Okay.
And then I see they have all these different backgrounds, and it's plays for like 5 hours or whatever, and it's just nice music. And so I put that on my laptop in the background quietly. I light a candle, usually some kind of a manly smell of a candle, and I put that, and then I have my coffee, and I'm surrounded by knowledge. I'm surrounded by books. Top to bottom. And that reminds me of how little I know. It keeps me humble. It keeps me thirsty for knowledge and growth. And I just sit back and I go like this, and I just look at my books. And I look at titles of my books. And I have my journal open. And I start looking at the titles of my books, and I start thinking like, what am I trying to achieve today? Am I trying to achieve a title of a new group that I'm doing, a new mastermind, a program, a course? Am I trying to level something up that I'm already doing? So I come with the idea of what I'm trying to think about first, and then I start looking, and I just start looking and thinking and looking and thinking. And then I go back here, and that process from a mentor of mine, I call it tapping the pencil.
Okay.
So it's just literally this here, just doing this, like, and thinking.
Wow.
And as you're ideating and creating, and then I'm writing stuff down, and ideas start to come to me. And it's amazing how things happen. That's how CLA was created.
And he's in theta wave right there.
We talked about how you have to make time to be creative.
You do.
Because if you're too busy, then you're not going to. So that is your way of making sure that you have that time.
So you know how you tick there, and it puts you in that mindset, in that frame of mind to be creative, because you're purposeful there, and that's important. That's something we all need to we continue to remind everybody here, because it doesn't happen out of osmosis. I'm going to be creative. We have our cups. Sometimes overflow, sometimes they get empty, and there's moments that we have to know when we're optimal. That's something I've recently been learned from people around me, like Jose and Spencer Jones and Michael, where I'm realized my rhythms, and recently I changed my patterns of when I wake up and when I go to sleep and when I do things, because I started paying attention to when I was most productive.
Because everyone's different. You could be a night owl, you could be a morning person.
Right. No, that's a big one. Thanks for sharing that. That actually was really cool. And by the way, I'm going to put so you need to watch it on YouTube, because I'm going to put a picture of his little studio, but where all the books are, because it's incredible. So
I also smoke cigars in my backyard with coffee and a pen and paper and nothing else, and just kind of sit there and look into the backyard, into the trees and the sky, and I just enjoy, and I start brainstorming, or I'll go for a walk with a cigar in my neighborhood. And that usually
being outside is very beneficial.
Yeah.
I just really thrive in the spring and the summer because I can go outside. Because
I
I live on a 30-acre property. We have birds and we have a horse, so I really like when it's warm out.
Well,
Megan, you're looking a little pale. You need to.
Okay. I'm Hispanic and Italian, but somehow became this ghostly white.
I do not understand what is going on.
The only proof of my Hispanic is the last name.
For now, because soon it's going to be, what is it going to be soon?
McCully.
So,
but
he's a good guy.
I'm going to attach it because I want to keep Santana. I love it. I love it. And I love Carlos Santana.
it is a strong last name, Santana. And Santana, the actual singer, is amazing.
Yes.
He's incredible.
Carlos. Carlos.
No relationship, unfortunately, with him.
Do you have a favorite genre of music?
Oh, yeah.
So EDM is one of my favorites. I like, my brother was a DJ back in the day, so he would open up at some of the big nightclubs in DC.
Okay.
Nations nightclub was huge.
Wow.
Where the National Stadium is currently built. They destroyed a stadium called Nations. It was buzz on Friday nights, so EDM is huge. I know all the big names, and then of course a little hidden secret is I love gangster rap.
Nice. I can
Holy
see
cow.
you listening
Most
to it while
people
you're
don't know
drinking.
that.
Ladies and
your-
gentlemen, we just I think CLA folks are going to be like, holy.
I can just see you like listening to that while you're drinking your pumpkin spice
And
latte.
exactly, and it's not even rap; it's gangster
Yeah.
rap.
Gangster rap. Yelling at angry stuff, right?
I love
We're
it.
going to use that clip.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for driving here, and this
absolutely.
was such a good conversation
It
that a
was.
lot of people, including myself, needed to hear. It's just that like reassurance that you need, like that
Yeah.
nudge, similar to how you do with your virtual coffee anyway, like that little push they need.
Well, that's why I did not introduce you to CLA, because I wanted you to.
Yeah, sure, that's why. That's his excuse.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Although you see me wear that sweatshirt. so,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
talk about
I
Jose.
know who I'm talking to Monday.
Yeah. I love it. So we want them to find you.
Yes.
What are the best ways for them to find you?
So I'm on Facebook. That's where I live. That's my second home. So you can find me on Facebook. The @ JAESCO25, JAESCO25. Send me a DM, connect with me. I'd love to get on a virtual coffee if you're out there and want to connect and learn more about either what I do or just do a value exchange and learn from each other. That works too. And then I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, same handle. And you can check out my website for my book. I wrote the book, Winning the Day. It's an Amazon bestseller. Sold 525 copies before it was even available.
Yeah.
It's winningthedaybook.com. And then you can also find me on my website, which is the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf, with an S, the entrepreneursbookshelf.com as well.
We'll put those links on,
Oh, yeah,
on the
absolutely.
posts and stuff. So thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
I cannot believe 15 minutes flew.
I know, didn't feel like it. And if you're listening to this podcast, thank you so much for being here. You can find us on multiple platforms. We have Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and Google. That's the other one.
And YouTube.
Oh, yes, and YouTube. A lot of people are more visual learners, or you like listening, so we have it all for you. With that being said, go create something.
Go create something.